Hi, welcome to Shelf Control. My name is Norm, and today I thought I'd try a solo playthrough of The Witcher Old World. This is the retail edition that we picked up from Nerds Day, and I thought I would show you how the solo plays and give you a feel for the game itself. So when you play solo, you basically set up the game as you would for a multiplayer game with just a few changes. Instead of starting with level 1 monsters, you start with a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3. And I went ahead and just did 1, 2, 3 down here. And you shuffle and you pick one of the specialty trophies. And we picked specialty. And so the way that you win the game is you defeat all 3 monsters and get the specialty trophy here. Just like in the regular game, you can't win by taking this as your last one. You can't defeat the last monster until you have this. You also start the game with 3 money and 5 cards. I'll move this up. We're actually going to be playing with the bear. The bear specialty has to do with defense, and so we'll see how that works. And the bear starts in the middle at Heron Kadooch. So we got a good middle presence of the board, and we have the monsters down here at the lower end of the board. We've got the level 1. The Ghoul's Nest is in Stiga. The Fiend is in Glenmore, and the Gusty Warp is in Ard Modron. And so we're going to try and defeat those 3 monsters and get our specialty level up to 5 and meditate. The way that you score the solo game is you try and beat it in a certain number of turns, and I will try and track the turns if I can remember by putting one of these coins up at the top to signify the turns that we're in. And so we're going to be doing turn 1, so I might as well put that out there now, and that way there'll be a visual tracker. So we have the 3 money, we have our 5 cards, and now we can begin playing. I think our first goal we should go for is maybe the level 1 monster and working towards getting this trophy. Since we can't finish the game with this trophy, we don't want to have to finish this and then go chasing down the last monster. But then again, this is only the second time I've been playing this solo, so take all my strategy ideas with a grain of salt. Since we need to get our specialty level up, it seems like this would be a good opportunity to play out this card, which lets us go to the water location. And Glenmore is a water location that then lets us up our specialty by 1. I don't know if this is the best way to do this, but let's play this tree, go back up to our specialty school, and this school is the only place where I can pay to up my specialty level. So since we're going from level 2 to level 3, it'll cost us the 3 money that we start with, and we get to level our specialty up to 3 to get on our way It costs more every time you go to the school to get to level 4. It'll cost you 4 to get to level 5. It'll cost you 5. So I figured I should do it while it's 3. Now we need to see if we can't get some more money and maybe get some of our other levels up. We can play our quick slash as a wild and move up to Bizima, where if we don't have any money, we gain a money, and we don't. So we'll take 1 money, and then we can burn 2 cards from the market if we want to buy some. Now, looking at my deck, we don't have many cards that go into blue, and we don't have many that go into yellow and green. And so we may want to work towards that. I will go ahead and burn these 2 reds and slide all these down. The reasoning for that is I'm kind of interested in picking up this yellow that goes into a blue or red, which could help us out with our combos. Then we can play this card out as a mountain to go up to hang 4s. We get a money, and we can take a trail path that we can use to track the monsters, and we can pick forest, water, or mountain. And since we're going forest first, I say we take a forest, and it's going to be in 8 in Vingerberg. And so that goes face up in front of us with a money on it. And if we visit Vingerberg, we can get that money, flip that over, and if you have a successful track on the monster, you get to go first in a battle, which is huge. And that's not bad because we are close to Vengerberg. So let's play our last as a mountain, go up to this school at Kaer Morhen, and we don't have enough. Oh, we do have 2 money now, don't we? So let's see. Looking at our board, we do have 3 at level 1 that we could pay 2 to level up to level 2. We have combat, defense, and alchemy. Alchemy is right here for the free upgrade as long as it's not higher than our current level, so we don't want that one. Combat is down here in this corner, which is near where the first guy to fight is. And our specialty level's there. Defense is up there. I say we try spending the 2 money to level our defense up to 2. And when our defense level goes up, our shield level goes up as well. And so now we're back down to no money, but we've got some levels on our attributes. Now, when you're done with your moving and location actions, you then move to the encounters. If there was a monster where we were at, we could choose to fight it, but since there's not, we can choose either a city or a wilderness encounter, and then we can make decisions from there. I don't know for sure, but I believe that the city locations, they seem like they would give you more, possibly a better rest or maybe some money. And since we're out of money, I say we try a city event. And so what you'll do is in a solo, you'll cover up the bottom of the card so you don't see the results of your decisions, and then you can read the card. You were stopped by a guardsman in the middle of the street. You were seen using sorcery. Don't you know that you need a license from the chapter for that? Not long after, you find yourself in a dungeon where you spend several hours in a filthy cell. When a guard brings your meal, you feel confident that there's no one else around but you two. Do we attack the guard and fight your way out, or ask for a cup of water? You never know what might happen before the guard brings it. I'm not super excited about trying to fight my way out, so let's do option B. You never know what might happen, so let's ask for a cup of water. So we cover that and read. Before long, an official of high station enters the prison. He regards you with contempt and informs you that to him, a witcher and a sorceress are the same kind of devilry. But he admits that the charges were false and pays you a compensation fee. Gain 2 gold. Okay, so my theory was right there. So we gain our 2 gold. And I'll put this back on the bottom of the deck because I doubt we're going to go all the way through like that. And then after your encounter, we get to get another card. The way you do that, you draw the top 3 cards of your deck, and then you can purchase a card from this row. The cost of the card on the row is shown in the bottom corner. This one's 0, this one's 1, this one's 2. 2 is the highest one I've seen. And so you have to discard cards from your hand in order to pick up these cards unless it has a cost of 0. The card in the very first slot has -1 to its cost, and the last 2 have +1 to their cost. In the solo game, if you don't buy the first card, then it gets discarded and everything slides down to help the market go by faster. Another thing that's useful is to look at your hand of symbols that you have. And so I have 2 mountains and a tree, and I have to think about where I'm wanting to go. And so I need to make sure that I've got cards in my hand that let me travel where I want to go. You can use 2 cards as a wild to go somewhere, or you can use a card and 1 of your money, but I'd rather not do that if I don't have to. So looking at the market, there's a yellow card here that costs 0, and it will chain into blue and red, which are colors that I'm looking for. Plus, it's a water, and I'm planning on going to Banard, which requires a water anyways. So I will take that into my hand. The first card goes into the discard pile, and everything will slide down. That is the end of turn 1. So we will start turn 2. So, like I said, let's use our water that we just picked up to move down into Banard. And since our alchemy level is still at level 1, it will move up. We do want to go to Vengerberg because we have the trail token for Vengerberg. So let's discard the tree card, move down to Vengerberg. We now get our coin, and we have our tree monster tracked, so we can go for him next. Now, the ability at Vengerberg is trash a card from your hand, so remove it from the game to get a card from the market that costs up to 1 higher. And that will ignore these modifiers. So I can take either a 0 or a 1 from here. And so what I think I'm going to do, if you look, we have a monster here that says that offensive sign, or the purple cards, have no effect, but they can be used to chain. And so this purple card wouldn't do anything against that monster, and it doesn't chain into anything. So I think it's worth trashing this card to take one that's 0 or more. This card up at the top has a cost of 1, and it's a yellow that will chain into a green or red, which gives us more flexibility for that as well. And so the good news is this card now goes into my hand, and so it's not a lost movement for me. So here, Peltnar has all 3 symbols, so it doesn't matter what we discard for that. So let's discard the mountain to go down there, because getting our combat up, we can possibly get it up before going down here and paying more. So we can pay 2 at this school, move our combat level up 1. And when all of the cubes are above our current level, our level will go up as well. And when you go up from level 1 to level 2, you draw another card. So that will give us another move. That could be helpful. Okay, so I don't like doing this, but in order to go here to here, I would need a water and a mountain, or from here to here is a mountain and a mountain. And I have a mountain and a forest. So what I will do is I will play this forest with my last money as a mountain to go down to Beauclair. Beauclair, when you get there, will give you a free potion card. And you're allowed to hold 4 potions. But during fights, you can only use as many potions in the fight as your level. So we could use 2, but now we've only got the 1. And it is Peter's Filter. We can discard a card from our hand to deal 2 damage. And that could come in handy. So we'll put our potions off to the side here. And then our last action, we'll use that mountain to go down here, which lets us level up our combat from 2 to 3 for free, because it was at our current level. And so we're moving pretty quickly towards getting our levels up. Now, since I'm here, I could choose to fight this level 3 monster, but I have no cards in hand, and he's a level 3 monster. So I think instead, my plan is to try to get this guy as early as possible, maybe even next turn. So let's try a city event again and see if we can get rested, maybe draw some extra cards. Again, cover up the bottom so you don't see. You make your way through a dense crowd. You hear calls for freedom for all, mixing with demands to send freaks to reservations. You ask a girl standing next to you what is going on. 20 men-at-arms arrived here 3 days ago, she says, struggling to be heard over the din of the crowd. They barged into old Jory's hut and dragged her daughter outside. People say they're going to hang her. She was strange, that girl. When she screamed, shingles on the rooftops shook and fell. But this, what's been unleashed ever since the men came, it's hell. Do we draw our sword and scatter the anti-non-human demonstration, or do we find out where we can find the girl? I think we should find out where the girl is. So, with option B, you learn the likely location of her captors, we get a quest in the mountain, and then we will read card number 24 out of the quest deck. This deck is numbered 1 through 56, I believe. It stays in order because you're told which card to read at the time. So this is a quest in the mountain. So you take a mountain, you flip it. It is in 3, which is Kaer Morhen, which is up at the very top corner. So we will not be visiting her right away. So that is our encounter. So we draw 3 cards. We've got 1 left in the deck. So we will shuffle our cards. Draw up to 3. We have drawn 3 cards that don't chain into anything, but we got 2 blues and a red. So if we are planning on fighting the Ghoul's Nest this turn, we probably don't want to discard a card from our hand to get another card. It'd probably be best to get one of the free cards. So we would have 4 cards in hand, use 1 to go to Staiga, and then start a fight with 3 cards. So looking at these over here, we have a blue that costs 1, but because it's in the very first spot, it'll be free, but it goes into green or yellow. Not colors we have in our hand. So as much as I would like that, I think we'll pass. This next card costs 2. This one costs 0, but it combos into every color except for purple. Now while this card won't be helpful against the Fiend, who isn't affected by purple cards, it does let us continue our chain. So I think we should take that into our hand so we can at least chain 2 cards together in our fight. Those will slide down. First card also gets discarded, so everything else slides down. And we start turn 3. Is turn 3 too early to start a fight? I say we find out. So the weakest of our cards is this blue card that is also a wild travel card. So we will play that card first to move into here. If we had the money, we could use this ability to level up one of our skills before fighting, but we don't have any money. So we choose to end our turn here, and we will start a fight against the Ghoul's Nest. The ghouls have 12 health, and during the player's first turn only, the monster can only discard up to 2 cards regardless of how much damage the player deals. So no matter how much damage we deal to this guy, he's only going to discard 2 cards. The way that combat works is just like in the multiplayer game. The monsters have a deck of cards. You shuffle them up, and you deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Number of cards equal to that monster's health. Before the fight, you take any cards in your discard pile and your deck, and you'll shuffle these together because these are your life total. If you run out of cards, the battle's over. Same thing for the monster. If he runs out of cards, then his battle is over. So since we have the trail token, we were tracking this monster, we will get to go first. If we didn't have this, he would get to go first. So looking at our hand of cards, we have a couple options. We could play just this card for 2 damage. We could combo these 2 together because the blues connect together. That would be 3 damage and a card draw. But this monster, we can only do 2 damage to him the first fight. We could also play these together because the red triggers together. And with this combo, we would do 2 damage and a card draw. So I think maybe hang on to this and use this combo for the extra card draw. When you damage a monster, you discard cards from the top of his deck. Then your cards will go to the discard pile. At the end of your turn, you draw cards equal to your combat value, which in this case is 3, plus any modifiers that you played. And we have the +1 modifier. So we get to draw 4 cards into our hand for next turn. In the solo game, the monster will roll a die. Every monster card has a top and a bottom. The top is a charge action, the bottom is a bite action, and in a multiplayer game, one of the other players chooses charge or bite and then flips the card over. In a multiplayer game, in a single player game, you roll a die. 1 through 3 is charge, 4, 5, 6 is bite. So with a 5, the monster is going to bite. So we flip the card over. The player takes 5 damage. That would have been better as a charge. So to take 5 damage, we first lose our shields. So we lose 2 shields. And then the remaining 3 damage comes from our deck. 1, 2, 3. And they get put in our discard pile. Now that the monster is done, we get to go again. So now looking at our hand, we can chain into red that we don't have, or we can chain into purple that we don't have. So this card does have a green that we can chain into. So perhaps we play these 2 together. This card allows us to pick up the top card from our discard pile, which is a red card, which could be nice the combo with this if we can survive another turn. So I think we should combo with these. But before we do that, looking at our special ability, once per fight on your fight turn, if our shield value is 0, which it is, your armor specialty automatically triggers. Draw cards from your deck, and if level 2 or higher, raise your shield. So since we're level 3, we can draw 2 cards and we gain 1 shield. So maybe that will help us out. With the drawing 2 cards, that might change what we want to do here. Not really. Those 2 cards are blue that doesn't change into anything, and a yellow that changes into a red with a card draw. So I think we're down to the same combo. So let's play that. So we get to draw the top card from the discard pile and put it into our hand. We gain 1 shield, and we dealt 1 damage. This is not looking great for us. On the monster's turn, he is going to charge. 5 damage again. I think we're in trouble. We do 2 from our shields. And 3 from our hand. Do we have anything that would trigger into the red, but we're still only doing 2 damage? We have nothing that triggers into that. We could do 3 damage if we played these together, but that is not going to be enough. This monster has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 health remaining. What are the odds that we could stay alive? We do have the potion that lets us discard a card for 2 more damage. So there is a possibility. Let's evaluate that. If we played this, we would gain 1 shield and do 2 damage. Then that would do 4 damage if we discarded a card, which we could discard this one. So let's see what we can do. So at the beginning of the battle, we're going to discard 1 card, deal 2 damage. 1, 2. And then we'll play out our combo that gives us a bit of a shield. So we gain 1 shield. We do 2 damage. And because of this symbol, since we chained into the red, this card actually gets put back up into our hand, and that could be good for absorbing some damage next turn. He is down to 3 health. So his attack is going to be a bite. The player takes damage equal to their alchemy level. Looking here, our alchemy level is 2. So we lose 1 shield, and we can discard 1 card, and they're down to 2 damage. So it really doesn't matter which card we discard for that, because now it is our turn, and we will play out the blue, which will deal 2 damage to the monster. 1, 2, and we have successfully defeated the monster. So we'll take our potion, and it gets discarded because we used it. When you defeat a monster, you gain 2 money. You remove the token from the board. His location is no longer needed because he's not there anymore. And you get to flip the monster card over because it has a trophy value. It has some wording for how you defeated it, but for time's sake we'll ignore that. But now at the end of if I end my turn on a water location, I can draw 1 potion. And so that is now an ability that I have. Our trophy level goes up 1 for defeating the monster, and when you go up 1, you have to trash a card in your hand. So looking at the cards in hand, looking at what chains into things, that's a wild travel. I am thinking of getting rid of this purple card because purple is not as useful against the fiend. And this one is our wild travel. So this card will get removed from the game. So now we will shuffle up. Draw 3. And we can purchase a card. I am thinking that since we actually trashed 2 purples from our deck and don't have many that chain into blue, this purple card that chains into blue could be helpful. So we will take that. This first card gets discarded, and all of these move down, and we refill. So our next monster will be the level 2, the fiend over there, I think. We also have a quest in 3, which is way up there in that corner. So maybe we start heading that way. So for our first movement, we can do a water to move up to Loch Icarer. And at this location, you can play dice poker against the locals. The way that dice poker works in solo, you pay 1 coin to the bank to play, and instead of 2 players rolling dice to see who gets the better hand, there is a chart for how much payout you get for your poker hand. So you roll the dice, and then you get 1 re-roll, and you either get 0 up to 6 gold for a 5 of a kind. So let's see how we do. We have 4 1s and a 6, So let's roll the 6. We got 4 of a kind. If you look at the chart, 4 of a kind pays out 5 gold. So we'll take our 5 gold. It gives us a total of 6 since we had to pay 1 to play. So what I think I want to do now So now I will play this mountain, travel up to Beauclair. Beauclair gets you a potion. So now we have picked up Maribor Forest. Only if you have 0, 1, or 2 cards in your hand, you can draw the top card from your discard pile. So that is now a potion that we have. I can play this forest to go to Vengerberg, but I think I will play that forest with a coin to instead go back to the Heltnar. And I would like to level up my defense. My defense is at level 2. I'm getting ready to go up to Banard to up my level to 3, and then I would level up. So I will pay 3 money to level up my defense to level 3. My defense should be 2 because after a battle your shields replenish, and then when you go up a level it goes up 1 more. So I think spending that 1 money to go to the school was more beneficial than going to Vengerberg. Now I'm going to have to do it again though, to use that tree as a water to go up there. But going up there increases my alchemy level by 1. And I think I forgot to take a potion. Every time your alchemy level goes up, you're supposed to take another potion. So here's my potion for this time. I can lower my shield level by 1 and draw 2 cards. So I'll take that. I level up from 2 to 3, which will draw me another card. And it's hurting my feelings. I kind of want to go up to Kaer Morhen, but I drew a water card. Do I spend my last money to move up there? I believe I do. And I also believe that I forgot to mark that we're in turn 4 now, so I'll just put my 1 money up there. And we'll go to Kaer Morhen. I can't do the school, but location 3 was where I needed to go for my quest. So it says read number 24. Again, covering up the bottom. The town greets you with pouring rain. A lonely beggar stands at the gates. They're hanging her today in the square, he declares with glee. They'll be bringing the sorceress out any moment now. From jail to the gallows, that's what awaits freaks. Do we go to the main square, or do we go to the jail? I think we should go to the jail to try and save her. So now you read the bottom. You reach the building just in time to see it collapsing. There are flailing silhouettes among the rising clouds of dust. By the time you reach them, it's all over, and you find the dusty and terrified girl sitting amongst the bodies of dead soldiers. It's time to go. Draw card number 20, and during phase 3, we'll draw one card less. So we'll only draw 2 cards at the end of the turn. So hopefully I can remember that. So we will draw card 20. And card 20 is a companion. So this is a card that we keep in front of us. It has a little bit of reading for her story, and it also gives you an ability. Once per fight, during your first fight turn, you can choose to roll a die, and depending on the result, perform the following effect. If you roll a 1, we take a damage. A 2 to 4, we take 1 damage, and the monster takes 2 damage. And a 5 or 6, we just deal 2 damage to the monster. So that could come in handy fighting against this other monster. So that was our encounter. No, that wasn't our encounter, was it? So now we have no more movement, so we can now do an encounter. I think it'll be beneficial to try a city event. We have done so many city events, but we are awfully short on money. Let's see if we can get money from a wilderness. The village you finally reached has seen better days. A scraggy woman is seen hanging laundry in front of her cottage. She informs you of an affliction that is plaguing the villagers. Me, my husband, and even our bairns now only drink from the well, she says. Them that drink from the stream have all died a horrible death. Do we investigate the bodies or investigate the stream banks? Maybe we examine the bodies. So, a careful look at the fresh corpses leaves you in no doubt as to the cause of the affliction. The stream has been polluted with cadaveric poison. Others might think I've gone absent-minded of my senses, but I'll stick with well water, thank you very much, declares the washerwoman. Raise your alchemy level by 1. Actually got her a free alchemy level upgrade, which is a shame because we could have gotten one just by moving down there. But since our level went up, we get another potion. It's a blizzard potion. After you finish your combo, play any one additional card from your hand. It does not need to match extensions. That will come in handy too. And so that is our encounter. We draw 2 cards because we draw 1 fewer card because of our quest. So we only have 2 cards in hand. So if we want to move further, we want to grab a free card. This red card in the very first section normally costs 1, but it'd be free. It does do 3 damage, but we draw 3 fewer cards. I think we should get some cards that deal some damage, even though this does reduce the number of cards we draw. This could be a good finisher. So we'll draw that into our hand, and because it was the first card, we don't discard any, so only 1 card will refill. That is turn number 5. All right, so now I think what we should do is try to work our way towards the level 2 fiend down on the coast. So I will play a tree, travel down there. We don't have any money, so we'll gain 1 money, and we can trash 2 cards from this area. Let's just trash the first 2 here, slide these down to get some things cheaper. Now it doesn't play into our cards in hand very well, but I think we should move up here 1 to get 1 money. So we get 1 money, and we can get a trail, which is in 5. So now we can travel down to 5, and we'll have the tracking for this monster to go, so we can go first. Unfortunately, the only other card we have in hand is a mountain, and we can spend a coin to make this a wild. Do we attempt dice poker again? That we could possibly lose all of our money. But that's what gambling's about. So we're going to use this as a tree. Move down there. Again, dice poker costs us 1 coin to play. We have 1, 2, 4, 4, 5. We could try to roll 1 and get a 3. That's a 1 in 6 chance. What are the odds for rolling 3 dice and getting another 4, maybe another pair? I think we try rolling the 3 dice. I don't know the math for this, but we got a pair of 1s and a 5. Looking at the chart, 2 pair, we get our gold back. So we've got a total of 1 gold. That is our last move. So we'll do an encounter. City has been nicer to us than Wilderness has, I think, so let's try that. In this town, humans and elves live in districts of their own. Bloodshed is in the air, and it seems the only threat of an invasion from a neighboring duchy prevents the locals from butchering one another. As you leave the stable, you are surrounded by 6 elves armed with clubs. You must be lost, human. Do we try to explain that we're not human at all? Or do we try to withdraw without saying a word? I think maybe we try to explain that we are a witcher, not a human. It tells us to roll a die. Three. On a 1 to 3, you fail to convince the elves. Trash 1 card, and then after, add any one of the revealed action cards that cost 0 to your discard pile. When you need to trash a card, you can pick up all of your cards and pick one to trash. Looking at our options, I think we should get rid of this red 1 damage. We do still have our blue 1 damage, but it is our wild, so we will trash this card. And we can add a card that costs 0 and put it into our discard. I think since we trashed a red card, we could take this one that costs 0, does 2 damage, and it goes into our discard pile. That was our last action. So that was part of our encounter. So now we will draw 3. 1, 2, 3. And get to purchase a card. I'm starting to like the idea of doing damage. This card was in the first spot, so it'll cost 0 instead of 1. And it's the 3 damage again. So we'll see what happens. We might get hurt by the lack of card draw. And that is another turn. So to start, let's use our water. Go down to Sidaris. That will raise our defense level by 1, which will give us another shield, which can certainly come in handy. Also, location 5 is where we were doing our tracking. So now we have tracked the monster, so we get that gold. We can play this mountain. Move down to Sintra and get a potion. It's Peter's filter again. Discarding a card for damage. That gives us the 4 potions that we're allowed to hold. How gutsy are we feeling? Maybe we do play this as a water. Go down there. We get to level up our specialty level again. So combat is the one left there. We only have 1 card left in hand, but we could choose to fight this monster. The only downside he has is that purple cards don't do anything. And we do get the first action. So I think we should try the battle. At the start of battle, all cards in your discard and your draw get shuffled back together. The monster has 13 health. And because we have the tracker, we get to go first. We only have the 1 card in hand, but we do have some potions and some abilities that we might be able to use. We do have this one that says if we have 0, 1, or 2 cards, we can draw the top card from our discard pile. We don't have a discard pile because we shuffled it back into our deck, so that's not good. We can try the Thunderbolt. We can lower our shield value, which is 4, by 1 to draw 2 cards. So I think we should try that. So we'll lower our shield to 3. And draw 2 more cards. And we drew 2 more red ones. So no combos going on. But that is quite a bit of damage in our hand. We do have our friend that we rescued. Once per fight during our first fight turn, which is now, we can choose to roll a die, and depending on the result, deal some damage. So let's try that. On a roll of a 2, we take 1 damage, and the monster gets 2 damage. So that's not terrible. So we take 1 damage that is soaked up by our shield. And they start by taking 2. All right, so the cards that we have in hand are only red cards that don't combo into each other. But we do have some potions, so let's try this. We will play out this card, which will do 3 damage, but we draw 3 fewer cards. Then we can play our Blizzard. After we finish our combo, we can play an additional card from our hand, and it doesn't need to match the extension. So we can go ahead and play out the same card. So now we have 6 damage, but we'll draw 6 fewer cards. We only draw 3, so we'll draw no cards. But I have a plan for that. So we will deal 6 damage. It only has 5 health left. These will go to our discard. And now it's the monster's turn. The monster is going to bite. The player takes 3, 4, or 5 damage based on the monster level. Since this is a level 2 monster, we will take 4 damage. We lose 2 from shields and 2 from our deck. And that kind of hurts my strategy a little bit. But they are down to 4 health. So let's see. Now I can play Maribor Forest. If we have 0, 1, or 2, and we do have 1, we can draw the top card of our discard pile. That is our 3rd potion played. We can play 4. So this is what was taken damage-wise, so we'll pick that back up. And that kind of hurts us a little bit because we've only got 3 damage here. But our 4th potion, we can discard 1 card from our hand to deal 2 damage. So we discard that card that we just drew, deal 2 damage. And then for our combo, deal 2 more. And we beat the monster. When you beat the monster, you get 2 gold. You flip the monster over, and we get a new ability. During the entire fight, in the last step of your fight turn, if there's a defensive yellow card in the combo, we draw 2 additional cards. Our 4 potions get discarded. We go up another trophy. Now we trash 2 cards from our deck. This might come back to haunt me, but I'm going to get rid of these 2 yellow cards that will go into a red or purple. Tempted to get rid of this blue one that doesn't go into anything, but it is our wild travel. So we're going to lose these 2 yellows and see how that works. I realized that I didn't trigger this when my shields went to 0. I actually should have had drawn 2 cards and gotten 2 shields, so that fight would have been even easier than it was. But we got it anyways, so we'll try to remember that. So now we've only got 1 monster left on the board, and our specialty needs to get to 5, so we can meditate and get this before we fight him. We're not allowed to fight him until we get that last 1. So we need to get our specialty up, which happens to be here. We have 4 money. We need 5 money for that last level up. So let's see what we can do. Our encounter was that we are ending our turn in a water location, and because of the ghoul's nest, if we end our turn in a water location, we draw a potion. So now we have black blood, deal 1 damage, and during this fight turn, you can only play a combo of 1 card. We'll see how helpful that is. And then draw 3. We do have the ability to get our 5th money down here. So if we have a mountain, and then a water, and then a forest, and we have a 2 mountains and a forest, is there a water here? We do have a water card that is a blue that goes into green, so we can take that into our hand for free. This last card gets discarded out. Refill. Add another turn counter. So, like we said, we need a mountain to move down there. We get a coin, and we can get the tracking location of our final monster. It is in 13. I don't think we're allowed to get the one where we are. So we draw another token, and it is in 9, way up there. Maybe we'll get up there, maybe we won't. The monster we're fighting is down here. And we don't know if we want to spare the time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's on turn 7. So I'll play water to go here. I will not do the dice poker because we have 5 money and we don't want to lose any of it. Play the forest to go up to our school. It's the only place where we can level up our specialty by paying money. The other schools don't know it. So we'll spend 5 money. Our specialty is all the way up. And now we have a mountain. Might as well move over 1 more and get a potion. It's the one that lets us draw from our discard pile if we have 0, 1, or 2 cards. And for our encounter, we can decide to meditate instead because we have our specialty level up to 5. So we can meditate and we get our specialty trophy. After using our specialty, we can choose one of the following. Deal 1 damage to your opponent or immediately draw 2 cards. So that could come in handy too. That gets us our 3rd trophy. And now we have to get rid of 3 cards from our deck. After looking at our cards, we decided to get rid of these 2 starters and this purple that goes into a blue because we don't have many cards going to purple except for maybe this one. So we're going to get rid of that one and this purple that we bought earlier. And so those will go away and we will reshuffle. We'll draw our 3. And if we're choosing on fighting that thing, we probably want something that combos well. We need a mountain to get down there. This yellow card will give us 2 more attack if we go with the red, which we have 2 in our hand, and it costs 0. So let's take that. So we will play this card as the mountain to go down to Ardmorden. This will actually work out great because our combat level is equal to our current level, so that will go up by 1. Now all the cubes are higher than our current level, so we will go up from level 3 to level 4, which draws us 2 more cards, which is just what we needed for this fight. Now we will choose to fight the monster. So a card that we played gets discarded, gets shuffled back into our deck. And we're going against the Glusty Warp. During the player's first fight turn, they can deal a maximum of 1 damage. That's not great. They have a health of 18. Since we hadn't tracked the monster is going to get the first action. It is going to charge. The player trashes any one card from their hand. If your hand is empty, it's from the top of the deck. So we have to trash a card from our hand. That can be bad. I think we'll trash this one. It combos into some nice stuff, but hopefully we're going to win this battle. We won't need that. Once during our fight, during the first fight turn, we can have her choose to try and do some damage. Since we can only do this in the first fight turn, we might as well do it now. She can possibly do 2 damage. I assume that it would be reduced to 1 for his ability. Rolled a 5, so it would deal 2 damage and none to us. But because we can only deal 1 damage to him on our first fight turn, he takes 1 damage. Now I think because we've dealt that 1 damage, I think it makes sense not to play any combos out. We don't have a potion I would like to play right now. So we will just go to the end. Our combat level is 4, so we will draw 4 cards into our hand. Our maximum hand size is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can only draw 3. But we have plenty of options for the next turn. So now the monster's turn. It is going to bite. The player takes 4 damage. We have 4 shields because he didn't damage us last time. It came from our hand. So we lose all of our shields. And then when it's our turn, if our shield is 0, we automatically gain 2 shield back. Draw 2 cards, but we're already at 7, so we don't do that. And because of our specialty trophy, after using your specialty, choose one of the following. 1 damage to your opponent, or immediately draw 2. Since we can't draw anymore, let's deal 1 damage. And then we can look at our hand for a combo. And looking at our hand, this is probably our best combo. We can go purple into yellow into red for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will draw 3 fewer cards, but this allows us to draw 2 cards. So it's actually 1 less card, so we would draw 3. And we have 4 in hand, so we will draw our 3. And that is all the cards in our deck. So let's see what we can do. On the monster's turn, he's going to bite again. We take damage equal to our defense level. And our defense level is 4. So we lose 2 shield. And we have to discard 2 cards from our hand. So let's try and find a good combo for doing as much damage as possible. Okay, and then we will get rid of those 2 cards. So the monster's health is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So on our turn, we have a combo of 3 that we can play. That yellow into green, into the red. And because of the yellow, we get to draw the top card of our discard into our hand. Because we did the red, we could pick this card up into our hand. But first, let's gain the 1 shield for it. And we also have 1, 2, 3, 4 damage to the monster. 1, 2, 3, 4 damage to the monster. It's down to 3. And this card will go back up into our hand. And we will draw 3 less. It doesn't matter how many we can draw because we have no more in our deck. The monster is going to take his turn. And he is going to bite again. 4 damage. So we lose 1 shield. And we have to take 3 more damage. He's got 2 health left. That just works out great. We can get rid of these 3 cards, and we have this card left. So now it's our turn. Play this for 2 damage. And we have defeated the monster. We got our last trophy. We won the game on turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, unless I miscounted. So in the book for the solo scenario, there is a chart that depends on what turn you ended on. It looks like we got the second best level here. And so we are on the road to become a legend. You know your job like no other. With a sword in your hand, you become the real terror of monsters, and people know they can feel safe with you. So the only way to get better is turn 6 or less, which it feels like we got really lucky with how things turned out this game. Well, as I edit this up, we'll have to see if we made any goofs. But anyway, that is a full playthrough of the solo game of The Witcher Old World. Thank you for watching. If you have any, if you notice any rule goofs, please leave us a comment. If you like what we've done, give us a like and a subscribe. It helps the algorithm and push this out to people that need it. And we'll see you next time. Bye.